Greetings, fellow Nicktoons. Tiki here,
And BlueDragonFive.
and we're back for a fresh look at an old classic,
NickToons Movie Month.
You see, folks, on this channel's early on in this channel's history, I attempted to review all the Nicktoons theatrical movies.
It did not go well, mostly because Tiki was missing one key ingredient.
Purple. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
A code.
Yes. So with years of experience under our belt and the nostalgia for these memories burning brighter than ever, we thought this would be the best time to cover 4 of the most iconic Nickelodeon movies. And tonight we're talking about the original, very first CG animated Nicktoons movie, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius.
Huzzah!
On
NickToons
Movie Month!
Nick.
Nickelodeon.
And there's a Nick in this movie.
Yes, there is a Nick in this movie. Yeah. Okay, how are you guys all doing tonight? We're back with the second of 4 Nicktoons Movie Month podcasts this month. You know, kind of a boutique podcast, if you will, sort of something to just sort of tide everyone over until we get into the Tiki's universe side of things again with stuff like DuckTales, Big Hero 6, etc., etc. But we're taking a look. We're taking a look back at these Nicktoons movies, which I have already reviewed solo, but as Dragon alluded to, that solo venture did not go well.
It had its highlights.
It had its highlights, but it also had a crippling thumbs up, thumbs down ratio.
True.
People are fickle at times, you know. It's the way trends go.
Wait, what? This isn't the movie. This is a podcast.
People are people.
Down.
Sometimes they can't
Heresy,
say the wrong
I
fault.
say.
Well,
What
this
does
time we're trying
Nicktoons
something
Movie
a little
Month
less
mean
barbaric.
except what would Nicktoons Movie Month possibly mean except just uploading the movies verbatim? Anyways.
That's called piracy, kids, and that's not welcome until we get to SpongeBob, where pirates are actually in the movie.
Oh, I can't wait to get to SpongeBob. But we're not here to talk about SpongeBob. We're here to talk about this shit.
Well, come on, let's not be overly harsh, you know.
This movie makes the Rugrats movie look like Rhapsody Street Kids.
What?
Wait, what?
Monkey, you know what Rhapsody Street Kids is, right?
It sounds like you said something
I'm
else.
failing to understand the exact analogy.
Oh, I'm just saying the animation in Jimmy Neutron is horrible.
You said this makes Rugrats look like Rhapsody.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Rugrats makes this look like Rhapsody.
Well, Tiki, still Rugrats was very well animated.
Yes, and this was very 2 hours later.
Well, it's not Rhapsody then.
Kind of a no contest comparison, but anyway, let's
I mean,
proceed.
here's the thing. I'm just going to lay out my thesis statement on this movie, and I don't really have a ton to say, so I'm going to try to not be a jerk about it. This is the movie where I started to lose interest in Nickelodeon. Just hands down. This was because I remember being hyped up about this movie. I do. They hyped it up pretty well with those shorts beforehand. You know, like, oh my God, Jimmy and Carl's, they're going to the moon. What's going to happen? You know, the advertising for this movie was great.
And there's like the teaser on whatever VHS is. That's definitely a memory.
If you want to see what happens to Jimmy and Carl, you have to go to the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the movie itself is just, it's like, even as an 11-year-old kid watching it in the theater, I was embarrassed. All right. I was embarrassed for my grandparents who had to take me. I was embarrassed for like my demographic as a whole, that this is what they thought kids, you know, this is how they thought that kids wanted to be represented. I was just embarrassed all the way around. And really that secondhand embarrassment hasn't left me. I think this movie is just, the humor in it is so bad for big chunks of it. I mean, there might be 1 or 2 standout jokes, but for the most part, it's just a whole lot of potty humor. It's just a whole lot of immature, lame, just like kids will be kids. Am I right? I don't know. And then of course I've gone on record multiple times saying I can't stand the actual Jimmy Neutron character. I like pretty much every other character in the show on some level, like personality wise, but Jimmy Neutron himself I can't stand. I think he's just a little like know-it-all pompous brat, and I just want to slap him.
Now, Tiki, I'm sorry, you
I
might
think he's worse in the show than in this movie. Like in this movie, he's a bit more bland, but yeah, more of a jerk in the show.
Tiki, let's just specify because I want to make sure you didn't slip there. Do you mean Jimmy Neutron, the show makes you feel that way, or do you mean the movie makes you feel that way?
I mean just the character, character in general through the show and the movie. I'm not talking about the show Jimmy Neutron. I'm talking about the character of Jimmy Neutron.
Right. You know, like over the last couple of months, whenever I've watched an episode or something, I've always looked back at what your comment of like every character is great except Jimmy Neutron, and yeah, that's pretty true.
Although I will say the thing that kind of kept me coming back to this coming back to the show at all, was Mrs. Fowl. And Monkey, if I'm remembering correctly, you have some personal attachment to Mrs. Fowl, correct? All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry, Monkey. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
What?
Oh, it's a sound she makes.
Okay, I thought it was Pee Wee Herman.
No, Monkey, as far as I remember, didn't you have I'm sorry if I'm like calling you out here. Didn't you have a school teacher who sounded almost exactly like Mrs. Fowl?
No, but I do have a kind of funny similar story that I'll be sure to share when she shows up in the movie.
Okay. I know you have some sort of Mrs. Fowl story. Anyways.
Yeah. Or at least I have seen that actress a couple times. So.
That could be it. Just your encounters with the actress.
Yeah, or at least like that. The actress being, of course, Andrea Martin, and that this movie was like Miss Fowl was my introduction to her. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of my enjoyment of her stems from Miss Fowl, and I love just that voice anyway. The
voice,
Andrea Martin voice. It's funny. This is the second movie in a row with Andrea Martin in it. Isn't that funny? Because she was, of course, Aunt Miriam in Rugrats.
Yeah, aren't we? Aunt Miriam.
So guys, like I said, this was the point where I stopped watching Nickelodeon. This was around the era of like All Grown Up, and I believe this was like right before stuff like
this is 2001, Tiki. I don't know if that helps, but that's when this came out. So.
This was like right before stuff like Camp Lazlo would be rearing its ugly head. I'm sorry, I don't like Camp Lazlo at all. I know it has its fans. This is basically right when the channel was going to be changing from the I feel like Jimmy Neutron is kind of that character who represents sort of the almost like a weird sort of crossover point between old Nickelodeon and new Nickelodeon. Not coincidentally, because of his animation style, but also just because of the way his show is placed in the history of these other shows.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like generationally, that's one of the few examples of like, hey, I'm a few years older than you guys, so this humor in this movie that just didn't really play for me at all.
Yeah, like, of course, I don't want to give away my age, but yeah, I remember like being on the youngest side, seeing this movie. Like, I remember like the outside of. I kind of remember where I saw it, and. Like that,
I take it you didn't have the same secondhand embarrassment for your entire generation the same way I did.
No. I don't think I even knew.
That's the thing. To me, watching this movie was just like, oh God, do kids really act like that? Oh God, I don't want to be a kid anymore.
Yeah, but so I remember like seeing the movie. I definitely watched the show, and some elements of the show hold up, some don't, and in some ways it's like the show maybe has a bit more of an identity than the movie.
I could see that.
Like I would still, like in its humor and the characters. I'd say call myself a Jimmy Neutron fan, but I can understand like not being crazy about it. And maybe I came at the right time or something.
All right.
Like, I even dressed up as Jimmy for Halloween once.
Aw.
Me too.
Well, I cannot make that a third. I'm sorry.
I getcha. I getcha.
All right, Dragon, what's
How
your
about you,
ties
Dragon?
to
Where are you
this?
in this?
All right. So for me, I was definitely a Jimmy Neutron fan. I was, again, dressed the way for Halloween once upon a time ago, and the appeal for me with Jimmy Neutron, it's there's definitely a gadget appeal. I've always loved my gadgets with Batman the animated series growing up.
Yeah.
So there's definitely definitely a
Well,
bit of
or
that.
maybe Wallace and Gromit on my end, but yeah.
Sure.
Inventions.
Right. And let's see. And there's always there was a bit of the C. Yeah, not saying it was like the highest caliber CG, but with this movie particularly, there is kind of like the early age of CG nostalgia I have for it, and I think like
The CG in this movie is so bad. I'm sorry, it just doesn't hold up at all.
again, it's not Yates, and that's the point. The point is that
I guess I was rewatching it. I guess by the end I got used to it.
Fair enough.
But yeah, like when you first see people in this movie, I was like, wow, that doesn't hold up.
Go ahead, Dragon. I'm sorry.
well, I will say this. I think I definitely I like the show more than the movie, and the movie definitely feels like a pilot. And what I'm saying is I was definitely more
No,
a fan.
it feels like a pilot because it's like all the pieces of the character development are in place, but you don't really do much with them.
And look, they made alterations. They try to improve things. And I think the Jimmy you see here is different than the Jimmy you get in the show. Whether that's it's definitely kind of a taste thing. Like, do you like the more kind of the innocent kid version? You like more of the straight man? It's kind of a, I think there's a balance that you can get that can be striked with that. They'll turn the audience on or turn them off with that sort of thing. Again, I always loved kind of the in many ways, this was Nickelodeon's answer to Dexter in a way, Dexter's Lab on Cartoon Network. And I think deep down, like looking back on it now, I kind of see that a little bit more. It's like, oh yeah, it's kind of this was Nickelodeon's kind of more kind of kid-centric version of instead of the kid who just doesn't think himself as a kid at all, who just happens to be a kid.
On the positive side of things, this is a far better show than frickin' Johnny Test.
Well, yeah.
When it comes to Dexter's Laboratory ripoffs, I'm just saying.
Well, sure. The point is, again, I always had like kind of it was always fun to kind of explore the world. And again, the side characters, particularly Carl. Carl is still Carl's still fantastic. He's hilarious, and Rob Paulson as Carl is one of the best roles he had. Nickelodeon he's so good.
Yeah, Sheen is fun. Miss Fowl, obviously.
I definitely have my axe to grind with Planet Sheen. That's not the
Sheen is going to be
Leaving
an
Planet Sheen
interesting
out of the
conversation.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm saying not
he's fun.
Yeah, so you have a number of fun characters. And I definitely have my nostalgia for.
And of course, they get more developed in the show.
Yes.
Like more chances to shine there.
Yes. Again, I definitely have my nostalgia for more so the show than the movie. But again, the movie, there are certain things in the movie I really do like, and
Same.
And again, like the kind of the early rendering. But again, particularly when we get to the Yogians, a lot of my favorite stuff is kind of with the Yogians. So,
I will say, I'll kind of co-sign on that the best stuff in the movie has to do with the Yokians.
Yes, I mean, there's a lot of like the cool visuals and kind of the sci-fi element of it. I really like. The kid stuff does wear a little thin in the movie, particularly, but again, I think
I'm peeing in the shower.
Like that, yes, and I think as it went on, they kind of got more away from that, and they kind of made things a little funnier, kind of made things a little better.
Well, yeah, but then the ending of this movie is a crime against humanity.
I think you're gonna feel bad about that when I tell you what led to that moment.
Oh really? Okay.
I think so. We'll get there.
It's a crime, Dragon. It's a crime. And people give the belching scene from Home on the Range so much shit. But no, this gets a free pass.
I remember a belching scene in Home on the Range.
It's like the one bit of crude humor in all of Home on the Range, and yet people are just
I think I'm kind of remembering it now.
Anyways, it's not important.
All right, so yes, that's
Dragon?
Oh yeah, here's the background, folks. Okay, so Jimmy Neutron is the brainchild of animator John A. Davis. He came up with an idea for a short that essentially was Runaway Rocket Boy, which was which was about Johnny Quasar, which is a very off-model looking version of Jimmy Neutron before it was kind of refined into the Jimmy Neutron idea. And he was basically, the premise always has been, and you guys see a lot of that pilot basically transforms the pilot movie, where it's it's a kid who uses science to rocket away. Basically, he's running away from home in a rocket that he built himself. That's kind of the premise. It's a kid running away from home. And he took it over to SIGGRAPH. And here's the stuff I really like getting into the history of Jimmy Neutron, is that you get to see definitely how Toy Story kind of opened the gate for a lot of new stuff in animation, because of course you look at that.
This is not.
Yes, I'm aware of that. What I'm saying is, you have, back in the early days of Pixar, they go to SIGGRAPH conferences, and they have the conventions with SIGGRAPH, and that's how you get Luxo, you get all the shorts they do, and that kind of opens the gate to CG animation. And because that door was open in 1995, the year Toy Story comes out, this is taken to SIGGRAPH. So the short's taken to SIGGRAPH, gets a lot of buzz. Johnny Davis meets Steve Odenkirk, not Bob Odenkirk. To my knowledge,
I know Steve Odenkirk. He worked on Kung Pao, right?
Yes, and Barnyard.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with him.
Yeah, he's a known writer. Like, he wrote the second Ace Ventura movie, and I think he was involved.
If you're familiar with Kung Pao Enter the Fist, I'd love to talk about that at some point.
Right. Anyway, so Odenkirk, he wanted to be involved in this when he saw it. He wanted to develop it as a series, and Odenkirk definitely has some writing credentials to his name. So they were mainly they were focusing on doing the series before they were doing a movie, and this changed into one that changed character in the Jimmy Neutron in 1998. Because speaking of Johnny Test, you had Johnny Quest and you had Captain Quasar, and basically some legal issues, and they were down to the gun. It's kind of funny. They had 24 hours on the clock.
So how did Johnny Test possibly actually come up? Well, we don't care about Johnny Test.
Yeah, it's fine. The point is, they had like 24 hours on the clock, and they had to come up with a name within 24 hours. Like, okay,
it's kind of like the Matt Groening thing, where it's like, Bart, Lisa, Maggie, Homer.
Exactly, gun to your head type naming stuff, So Nick was very interested, and they were so enthusiastic. I would assume after the response of their first their other two theatrical films, with the Rugrats, they were definitely interested in adapting things in the movies. I would imagine they were definitely interested in picking up as a series, but they also wanted do a movie before you do the series. So there was definitely an appeal. Again, the reason I bring up Toy Story is that this is kind of Nickelodeon's, in their own minds, this is them doing their first computer animated film, and it was going to be a big thing, be really different for them, and kind of the other studios
nominated for best picture, best animated picture.
Exactly, it was the way animation was going, so they thought they'd kind of go with the flow on that one.
Man, that was a shit show.
Right. Anyway, so now there was a big. They did a number of shorts to build the hype and the interest in this as a fallback, as like a fail-safe, just in case the movie underperformed. They wanted, because it is a big risk if you do a movie that bombs, and that means your series won't get made. So they kind of struck a balance where, okay, we'll do these shorts, and these are the shorts that Tiki and I have been kind of talking about. We have all these little these promotional things, and you have, I believe there were seven, maybe eight shorts, because one was Runaway Rocket Boy, which essentially was kind of the prequel that they kept hyping up, and like, you want to see the rest of this, you got to check out the movie. You had that.
It makes sense if it was 7, because I believe they aired it like one a day for a week.
Exactly. I think you're on the money with that. I think it was 7, if not like 7.5. And they also had, and I don't know if you remember this. This is a big nostalgia pull for you guys. I hope you remember this, Steve, especially because this blew my mind when it happened. Because I remember that week of the release of Jimmy Neutron, where they had Jimmy Neutron, like a little pre-animated thing of Jimmy Neutron. He would run out the bottom of the screen while the cartoon was playing, and he would mess with the picture. And there were 2 examples of this.
Yes, I do remember that.
Cranks it up.
Because the show was coming out.
What?
I thought they did that when the show was coming out.
You know what? I don't know. It looks like it was for the movie because he's wearing the shorts. He didn't wear the long pants. When he wears the long pants, that's the show. But I'm not sure. Anyway, so he cranks the thing. He turns like a scene from Harold. The black and white is really loud and obnoxious, and then you have this hilarious one I still love to this day, where he did it to SpongeBob, and they turned the Hooks episode, like they'll fire on the poop deck. That whole scene. but it's done with puppets. They have like an
Oh,
episode
no.
for a scene.
Oh, no.
It turns to puppets, and it's hilarious.
Remember one where he showed up like during an episode of Rugrats and he gave them all Jimmy Neutron hair?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I would imagine that sounds very on point with it. And they had shorts like the shorts in question where no pain go away, where he has like the pain transfer. He had cookie time, which is probably my favorite, where he keeps time traveling to get an extra cookie. It makes no sense, but it's hilarious. And then there's Hypercorn. It's like there were a number of fun ones, and there were like games on the Nicktoon on the website.
Yes, the games I definitely remember.
So the point is, the branding and the hype for the movie is something that cannot be compared with what they had for Jimmy Neutron at that time. It was a lot of fun.
All right.
And so anyway, real quick, almost done. So the production started in '99. They had 24 months, which is not a lot of time in animation, so it's remarkable. They got done what they needed to get done, and they didn't use Render Man like Toy Story. That's definitely an additional reason the animation did not look up to snuff. They used Lightwave. Lightwave was kind of the discount kind of competition for Render Man at the time.
Oh, it'll be fine. It'll look fine.
And let's see. So the 2001 release, it went over great enough. At least it went over great enough to get the Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, and of course that show did bring a lot of crossovers with the Fairly Odd Parents. Got an Oscar nomination, as Tiki alluded to earlier. And as the history of Jimmy Neutron goes, of course, it led to some bad spin-offs. For example, Planet Sheen. And this is the last thing I got here is this something about the future of Jimmy Neutron, possibly. From what I hear, nothing's been like confirmed or denied about it ever since this was revealed. John A. Davis, he says he has a reboot in mind for Jimmy Neutron. I don't know if he ever meant to, if that just kind of lost steam, if it just kind of went on the shelf or what. But he said he does have a reboot.
Something like he's waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, he's waiting for like the right time for it. So.
Oh, I can hardly wait.
I don't know. Okay, well, that's how we get Jimmy Neutron. Boy Genius.
Okay, folks. Well, we're going to go ahead and do a commentary for this movie. If you do not feel like getting your copy of this movie, syncing it up and everything, we're going to do our level best to make it a conversation. As you can tell, I feel like we've got three very different viewpoints of this movie, where Dragon and Monkey, I feel like, are both positive on it, but coming at it from different ways, whereas I'm just negative on it. So I think this is going to be a really fun conversation, regardless of the commentary.
If I may, anyone else remember when they did that thing on Nick where they aired the movie and they had Jimmy Sheen and Carl riff it?
I remember, and
I'm
dying. I wish I could find it again, but I remember it. Yes.
Yeah, like them sitting in the lab watching it. It was the silhouettes, like Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah.
Well, this commentary will essentially be like that, except for without the silhouette.
I'll raise you one more real quick. And Tiki, you mentioned this. We had the comic where you had like you also had the comics that went along with the shorts where you had like. Like he's chewing gum to become invisible in the classroom, and also in that magazine they had Mystery Science Theater of old sci-fi movies, but with the King Goobot and Ooblar, and they were like commented on the B movie sci-fi movies of the day. It was hilarious.
All right.
Please tell me there's something where it's like someone in the B movies like, oh, if we don't do this, we'll be toast, and then Ooblar says, "Hello, toast."
All right, you guys ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, commentary for Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius in 1, 2, 3, go. Got a blast. That's one of the things I really don't like about Jimmy Neutron is that he's got like 2 or 3 really forced catchphrases. There's the brain blast thing. There's got a blast.
There's dynamite.
Yes. How can we forget about the aforementioned dynamite?
Yeah.
Oh, guys. This
From
is
one dog logo to another.
Yeah. So just right off the bat,
just like your Space Ranger spin with that CGI on the title. Colorado. Yeah, this shot doesn't age with the people. This first shot.
Look at all the adults first off look like kids.
Well, mainly all the side ones here, they don't have eyes. They just have like the pupils. Except for our main guy here, voiced by the general. He has eyes. So apparently he's an adult. The rest of them are man children.
And then
that's what I'm saying. Like all the adults look like man children in this movie.
Okay, but this is the lighting I'm talking. It's like the charm of the early animation. You're like, you know, the kind of this sequence outside here. But the magic hour lighting and kind of the early CG, it looks nice.
Yeah.
Nostalgia. That's all.
And then we cut to the mask.
Right.
Anyone else remember like the Burger King toys that you would put together to make the rocket?
And I remember, I had a number of the Jimmy Neutron toys because I love the vehicles, I love the gadgets, and I had this vehicle right here, the prototype rocket, and then the finalized rocket. So it was.
So Dragon, I'll agree with you. Carl Weezer is definitely the most entertaining character. I love in this scene how he's just like, you know, like he's not even like really that nervous. He's just kind of like low key nervous.
Yeah. Like, oh,
he's just Jimmy, like, I don't know, Jimmy. I think they want us to pull over.
So yeah, we'll feed you breakfast. And also, the nice little foreshadow to the Yogians with the with the egg yolks. That's kind of nice.
Of course.
And toast. But
I love that cereal box.
Yeah, as Hugh Neutron, he loves his ducks. He loves ducks and he loves pie.
Yeah, we don't really
I wonder who should play him in the movie.
Oh, gee, I don't know. Who do you think, Dragon?
Maybe someone who was in Spider-Man 3, but that's all we'll say. Anyway.
We don't have anything about pie in this movie, come to think of it.
You're right, but I wonder if they just figured that out.
The ducks are downplayed.
They probably figured that out during the show, the whole pie thing. But again, we have some ducks here and there, so that's a little.
Of course, with the llamas and Carl, that's really hyped up in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not as much as in the show, but it's there.
So, real quick,
Ultra-Lord is definitely there. We'll see him.
Yes. As real quick, I just wanted to say with the opening, I do like that in the opening it kind of summarizes the premise of Jimmy Neutron, where again it's a it's a kid in a rocket. It's kind of it's mischievous youth in his rocket with a robot dog and his fun pal Carl.
And this brain blast thing is just totally it's a trope of the TV show, but I just don't think it worked within the context of the movie. Because it essentially, I think the brain blasts are like one of the big things that make this movie feel like just an episode of the TV show more than anything else.
I do like seeing people MacGyver things, so I did appreciate Jimmy.
I mean, I'm just saying structurally though, like he has one brain blast towards the beginning, one brain blast towards the end, and isn't that usually how it works in the show too?
I think it would be like one towards the end normally.
I don't know. I think he definitely one towards the end, but sometimes they'd have two. I think he'd get the idea, then he'd have the solution to the idea. I think that's might have been out.
And then one time it was Santa who had the brain blast.
Yeah. No,
if you ever talk about that episode, I want to be there.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be in contention for Christmas in July.
I'd actually come on for that one.
Well, if we can afford you.
Yeah, my price is going to be way out of field.
I know. What am I paying you for this appearance, monkey?
Let's not discuss finance.
Love?
And all you need is love. Is that right?
Hey.
So let me say this. I always love this about retro villain that we get in the movie here. I love the retro 50s design in Retroville. I really like that. Like especially with Judy's car here, man. The old school car, and again, it fits with the rocket motif. Kind of I'm blanking on his name. Kind of William Joyce. I think it's William Joyce's kind of style a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly the vehicle design of the town. It's nice.
I hate the look of the mother's hair in this movie.
I will say one thing though. I think what we're going to notice in NickToons movie month here is that we do have an upgrade in parents, especially by the time we get to Wild Thornberries. And I think this is definitely a vast improvement upon.
Oh yeah, Judy is a totally vast improvement over Dee Dee.
I'm saying the parenting of just the overall parenting that we saw in Rugrats.
And then I think in
Random kid on a bike.
That's going to be an improvement on parenting over this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It gets better.
Although with SpongeBob, I'm not really
and
sure.
Eventually they'll combine.
Wasn't it okay, fine. At least for the first three, there's a really good parenting.
All right.
And honestly, I gotta tell you, I do have a little personal thing here. Like, Jimmy's parents do vaguely remind me of my own.
Aww.
Yeah. Especially, how their dynamic is in the movie here. Yeah.
Hugh Neutron has always been one of the characters that kept me sort of vaguely coming back to the show. Like, not actively, but just like if I saw it on, I'd be like, oh, at least Jimmy's dad is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I hear you. I understand you.
And I like that the parents they're supportive, and they're again the opposite of Dexter's Lab, where they're aware of Jimmy and they're supportive, but they have trouble reining him in at times. It's kind of realistic.
Yeah,
okay, if you knew your kid was a genius,
they have boundaries.
Yeah. And again, like the simple PSA, and I love how much resonance the simple PSA of like "Don't talk to strangers" has in this movie. Well, yeah, don't. Again, it's like don't talk to aliens you don't know. That's where.
So you know what's weird about watching this movie for me is that all these years later, I can still pinpoint exactly what stuff was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like all this toothbrushing stuff, this stuff was all in the trailer.
I always thought the laser toothbrush was a lazy invention. It's like, come on, do you really need like an invention to brush your teeth? You can't just do it the old-fashioned way. Like, you couldn't put more manpower into the shoe-tying robot, which is actually useful, but you can't.
Yeah, I won't lie. It's like the toothbrush is the one that sort of works the least for me in this sequence.
And oh noes, our character's going to be late to the bus. We haven't seen this scenario in any movie ever.
Oh, but it's it's in CG. It's the first now it's seen it. It's CG.
Really? Are you sure it's the first time we've seen it in CG?
Late for I'm thinking that. Can you really?
I love the bus driver has a
Monkey, do you know if in Rhapsody Street Kids there was a scene of someone running from the bus at some point or running for the bus?
No, but there was a bus. There were kids getting off a bus.
Okay, close enough.
Okay, now speaking of the bus here, I love the I like the bubblegum mobile.
I will admit this is a fun opening kind of it's not the opening sequence, but it's a fun kind of like Act 1 chase sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do appreciate we do have a couple songs that are formatted for the movie, and they're written, for the movie, mentioning, Jimmy Neutron.
Okay, I will say this soundtrack in general gives me freaking deja vu in a good way. Because this neutron is basically like, hey, remember all the music in 2001?
Yeah.
Neutron Boy Genius.
First, we have Carol Lawrence as Cindy Vortex, if I'm remembering correctly.
And I will say Cindy has by far the best moment in the movie for me. We'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
And again, so just to talk about Rob Paulson here, you see a lot with him. On the rewatch, I forgot how well, because I know I love Carl from the show, but I mean, I can remember Carl he's so sweet and simple and a funny friend for Jimmy to have here. He's like a great lab assistant, and
he's sweet and simple, but yet he still has his eccentricities as well, much like Jimmy does.
It's like he's kind of like
each other.
He's like Jimmy's Beaker, only with more sympathy towards Beaker than Bunsen Honeydew has.
Yeah.
We have a scene coming up during the show until I really like. I completely forgot about. That's so sweet to me, and it's like I love that Jimmy never. He never.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he's never egocentric to Carl. I mean, he's never mean to Carl. Never undermines him. He's always real supportive to his friend there. I love it. Yeah, well, it's coming up real soon. With the
yeah. Meanwhile, in totally getting paleontology wrong.
Oh God!
Now this is the kind of stuff that doesn't hold up for me with those.
Like I said, folks, Cindy does have the best moment in the movie for me, but there's still some crap we have to sit through to get to that.
You can see in the writing they're overcompensating with the girl power movement. They're definitely.
Oh, they're just doing that in this one particular movie, Dragon.
Come on! Don't turn everything into like look at it by comparison. Come on.
And hey, there's Miss Fowl.
Oh God! Okay.
I'm glad to finally show up. So it's funny. To my understanding, Miss Fowl is actually based on a high school teacher John A. Davis had.
Yes.
And apparently, not only is that teacher still there, but from what I hear, the resemblance is uncanny.
That's amazing.
Now, I could be crazy here, but with Ultra Lords, by the way, I do like the design of Ultra Lord because I like it has like 50s car fins for shoulder pads. But anyway, you'll notice if you look at Sheen's shirt, and I'm convinced of this again with a vague Toy Story illusion, he is posed exactly like the merchandising for Buzz Lightyear on his shirt. It's like the Ultra Lord's like kind of flying around there. It's identical to the Buzz Lightyear marketing.
So I assume this frog thing is what you guys were talking about. Yeah, that is rather adorable.
Where Jimmy says, "That's really nice, Carl." It's like, this movie, you know?
Carl, that kills people. Obligatory llamas with hats reference.
Oh God.
Kind of funny watching this because, like, I have some Orida Jimmy Neutron trading card thing that has this scene with Carl showing his impaler.
Oh really? Nice.
So it's funny
I
to
remember
like
the trading card
see
game
on
they had
screen
on
here and up there on the bulletin.
Nick.com. They had like a trading card game where you could like with fictional money buy Jimmy Neutron trading cards.
Oh God. Oh
there was
God.
that
So it was
Orida
basically like a
rocket
loot crate
game.
before loot crates.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you ready to see Mrs. Fowl basically get aroused by a young boy?
Oh come on, she is no. Don't make it like that. She's not aroused by it.
No.
You're
Well, let's see.
No, wait. Just wait for it. Wait for it.
I don't
wait
know
for
if
it.
that was arousal, but it was something.
I'm not seeing it. Tiki.
Like when he passes the note and she's just like, oh.
I think it's just her making random bird sounds, Tiki. I don't think it's arousal. I don't have to tell you.
We're just like, oh, that's right. Thank you, Nick.
Okay, let me tell you what really doesn't hold up, though. That Nick, this James Dean homage just stinks.
Nick is a terrible character. I think we can all agree to that.
I gotta tell you, on the rewatch, it's the one I just personally didn't like. But on the rewatch, though, with Nick, is that Nick he doesn't hold up well logically. It's like this guy, I don't believe this kid could take on an army.
He's definitely the most pointless character in the whole movie.
You're right about that. Oh, the old shrink ray. Basically the retrofitted TV remote into a shrink ring. I love this design work. I never get enough of that. And the show kind of kept that going, too. It was always something neat about the show. Retrofitting stuff into cool gadgetry.
I'd use an
So what do we think of the whole idea of Cindy Vortex basically being like a Helga Pataki with less layers to her?
Well, here's the thing. So definitely the reason, I think one of the big reasons we have less layers with her is it was the whole girl power thing. Basically, the whole boys don't like girls yet sort of thing we're running with in this. I think if we took that away, I think we'd be able to get more depth on her. But I mean, I don't mind that.
She calls it a Leviathan.
Yeah. Yeah, man,
I'm pretty sure that was also in the trailer.
Yes.
Yeah, or at least there was a poster with Miss Fowl being shrunk.
Yeah, you got a dumb question here. Do worms actually, have like all those layers of teeth like that? Because I'm thinking like Jeff the Worm from Men in Black 2. I would like to think that's true, but I've never seen a worm up that close.
Ooh, I don't want to think about that because worms kind of creep me out.
All right.
That's saying if Retroland opened here, that kind of goes against some of the lore they set up in the show, like whatever the myth of the Phantom of Retroland, because that happened back around the 90s.
Well,
Geek.
There's still, there's probably just it's a theme park with like a haunted lore to it. They still open theme parks and close it down.
Although this is when the grand opening.
Yeah.
Didn't the Phantom of Retroland happen in the 90s, like back when the park was supposedly open?
Oh.
Well, anyway, back in First World Problems.
Anyway, I forget. Yeah, it's been a while since I didn't know that there was a year attached to it. I forgot that.
So Nick is another character that just made me embarrassed to be a kid because it was just like, oh man, this is our idea of cool.
Is that a Cheerio?
You could argue it gets deconstructed later, like when he actually is put up to the task.
Was that a Cheerio he's wearing around his neck?
What?
Probably.
I'm saying it looks like a Cheerio or something.
Because he's a try-hard little 12-year-old. So yeah, it probably is a frickin' Cheerio.
Yeah. It's honestly, you know what it is? And I hate to make this reference, but it's very much like this was them calling years in advance Justin Bieber, but as an animated character. It is. What do you think about it? That's what we're saddled with today from Canada.
Especially because he's got like the tough boy persona that just instantly just fades away as soon as
he shrieks like a little girl too.
Yeah,
just like Justin Bieber, yeah. Anyway, of course, the rocket pack, very cool looking.
Yeah.
When he's not slamming into things, but aside from that, it's really cool looking. I gotta tell you, he's they're putting all their chips on the fact. There's a lot of confidence that, hey, I'm going to be able to win them over. When you guys win your parents over, I'm be okay to get out. We'll meet each other. It's not really
and this whole setup for the plot really doesn't do much for me.
Yeah,
like the whole idea that this is supposed to get them to like want the parents to leave, and I think this movie's plot is really, really sloppy. I don't know what you guys think.
Okay, so according to IMDb, that train driver was voiced by David Lander.
Yeah. And he's later on, too. He's the Yogi and Guard later on. You'll see. I'll point him out, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Jim Cummings in this movie. He's all over the place.
Yeah, he was the general. I know he's...
Ultra Lord.
He's Ultra
Alarm Clock.
Yeah.
They got someone else to voice the general in the show, though, and like there it's the same guy who voices Hugh.
Yeah.
Also, as much as I love Patrick Stewart, I think that just for the good luck charm quality of it all, Tim Curry should have voiced that character.
That would have been fun. It is... I'll save it for when we actually get to Goobot Nublar.
Well, remember, Tim Curry's another character in the show on Jimmy Neutron.
Oh, yeah, Calamitous, yeah.
Professor Calamitous.
Well, yeah, but they didn't know he was going to be there when they were making this movie. I'm just saying, you need to have some Tim Curry in a Nickelodeon movie.
Yeah. So I mean, with the rocket sequence that just passed by, I do like him like collecting the things that and seeing in this sequence what he does with those things, how he just turns it into like diamonds, kind of the ultimate bribe. So I like kind of the science work in there. There's like a fun little setup gag. Goddard can do the whole play dead explosion thing. That's neat.
Yeah, which we also saw in the shorts.
Yes,
true.
And I remember also became a plot point in an episode of the show.
Yeah.
And somewhere down there is G29T working on the droid as we head towards the store speeder.
Right.
This is going to probably be a controversial thing to say, but as a boy and his dog story goes, I don't think there's as much emotional resonance with Goddard as there should be.
Yeah, I could see that too. I remember the movie theater where I saw this for the first time. One of the characters they had painted on the windows was the girl eating plant.
That's weird.
I'm sure this petrified Tiki.
Oh,
now let me tell you. I'm going to explain it here, so we don't have to worry about forgetting it by the end here. So the burping soda. So the origin of the burping soda is Steve Odenkirk. His daughter had ideas for the movie. He talked to his little girl.
You don't put those ideas in the... Did we learn nothing from Lady in the Water or After Earth or whatever the hell movie, or like Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
Or Freddy the Frog?
God, that's not an excuse, Dragon.
The burping soda is only in 2 scenes. Slow your roll there, but it's only 2 scenes.
It kills the ending of the movie. It's just like, oh, we're just going to go out on the least classy way possible.
Come on, I mean, there are worse gross-out gags that Nickelodeon is known for. Honestly, the burping soda compared to...
Yes, but not one that ends the entire movie.
If the Rugrats movie ended with "This world is something new to me."
Oh, God.
See, kids, so it's not so bad when you get coal from Santa.
I'm like, I don't even know what's going on now.
What do you mean you don't know what's going on?
I mean, what is he trying to invent?
He's not. I told you, he's bribing
he's making diamonds.
Like diamond earrings.
Oh, that's right. The diamonds, yeah, of
and
course.
Getting the pearls for the necklace.
Or he's getting pearl. He's getting pearl points, I should say.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jimmy. You don't get any pearl points.
He's not Onion.
Okay, so I may as well ask now, are any of you two familiar with that Jimmy Neutron Happy Family Hour thing?
Happy Family Hour?
Yeah, it's some weird CGI thing on YouTube.
No.
Okay, so I got that out of the way.
Real quick, I love the Ren and Snippy music. I like the Nickelodeon has like this library of sounds they've used in Ren and Snippy and SpongeBob, and they use it in other places here. So they're using like kind of the bribery music.
Remember that no, yes thing really amusing me as a child?
Right. And
of course, there were some lines when I was rewatching it this morning that like, oh, that's funny, like now to hear now that I'm adult, now that I'm grown.
This always bugged me here because again, I
We'll
like
get to
how
them.
I like Judy here, but no one Judy can clearly see no one's at fault here. It was an accident that these curtains catching on fire, and she's saying don't play with your rockets indoors. Like she was like she heard all this unfold. He didn't do this on purpose, and this punishment is not warranted for this. It really shouldn't be, and that's like a little pet peeve I got with it.
And I think that right there is just an example of forced conflict in this movie where we need.
Okay,
to
I will.
You're not
Okay,
wrong. You're not wrong
I'll give you this. That fire extinguisher spraying moment there did give me a hint of a Rhapsody feel. That's probably the closest it would get to there in the entire movie. So
I gotta tell you though, I think the reason it doesn't bother me, the more I think about it, honestly, I think it just kind of fits with the kind of the art style of the universe. I don't know, it just feels like I kind of made peace with it. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying I'm used to it.
I think the hair in this movie in general it's like a great example of like bubblegum hair. It's just the hair looks like wads of bubblegum on top of people's heads. Meanwhile, in deep space.
Oh yeah, so here's some of the best stuff in the movie. All the Yogi and stuff here. I can't get enough of. Mainly with King Goobot and the Ooblar.
Yeah, like
it is a good design of the ship. I'll give you that much.
I love the Yogi and body. That's what I love.
It's funny, like on the description on the back of the DVD includes the sentence like, "In the dark of night, the aliens fly their warships, looking like a fleet of rubber chickens, to Earth and abduct all the parents in Jimmy's hometown." I just picture like an adult reading that and thinking like, what am I reading?
Right.
I was an adult watching this, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
But yeah, Stewart does suit Goobot here. Like, the voice really works for him, like, really matches the character, I feel. And it's so weird that whenever we see Goobot and Ooblar outside of this movie, like, the show or in the ride, the voices are... I mean, I get why you might not be able to get the celebrity voices, but they don't even sound the same.
Well, no, I mean it's the same ones from the show that did the ride. So I mean, it's the same.
Yeah, I know, but like those voices are don't sound really anything like the voices here in the movie.
No, I guess.
Like at least still kind of sound alike.
They're still kind of funny though, even though they were different. I still like them.
Yeah.
But anyways, saying here. So again, Ooblar and Goobot, just like this egg, the hovering egg-shaped design, how the mouths move, and you can kind of get the animation from the eyes too. Like when Goobot, in a moment here, where he sees like the projection of Jimmy Neutron, it gives it like that squint of like it's like intimidation within the eye squint. Of course, this Toast Runner is hysterical. Just hello, Toast.
Yeah, that's always the classic.
Yeah, and I love that they're brothers, by the way. I had to recheck because I keep getting paranoid that no, they're not brothers, you idiot. But no, I look at it, and yes, they are brothers, and it's great.
Yeah, I think Ooblar calls Goobot brother in one of his first lines.
Yeah, he does, and like
yeah, and the ride definitely mentioned that they were brothers.
You scrambled my brother, yeah. I love that, and what I love about that dynamic is it's kind of like Molt from A Bug's Life. It's sort of that whole. It's like this idiot in the family. Yeah. It's like the idiot.
If Richard Kind was Ooblar, what would that be like?
Oh, that'd be great. Honestly, I love if they did that for the show. If you got Richard Kind as Ooblar.
I love how Jimmy pointed to the wrong parent.
I'd love to hear more about the ride from you guys, because I think that's something that clearly you two have in common, where you have a ton of nostalgia for the ride, and I never got to go on the ride.
I adore that ride so much. I really do.
I never got to go on the ride. I've only seen YouTube videos of it.
I've been on that ride more times than I can count.
Dragon, would you like to wax nostalgic about the ride for a minute?
Like right here?
Or, whenever you get the chance.
I love that Hugh line there. Like, if all your friends were named Cliff, would you jump off of them?
All right, well, just remind me of it later. I'll get there. When we go to space again, we'll slow down. I'll tell you about it.
Yeah, I know there's another moment later, sometime later, where I'll mention the ride, but...
All right, I'll bring up then, I guess, after you...
Or when you see fit.
Also, guys, let me know when the timestamp is 26:17, all right?
Okay.
All right.
Will do.
Because I've been having some lagging issues.
Right. So Hugh is voiced by Mark DiCarlo, who did basically he's doing a parody of Ward Cleaver as Hugh here, and that's always really funny. He gets to play more. He gets to play around with it more in the show, where he gets to give Hugh all these obsessions.
Love you. Next.
with ducks and pie and such.
Okay. 10 seconds.
Okay. 26:17.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy's on the phone, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, cool. We're good.
Talking with Carl.
Hey, I
Carl.
I mean, this
Carl!
I don't mean this to keep going on about the design work, but I like how Goddard is equally functional as he is kind of well.
TV Land.
Yep, which did remind me of I think it's like it's
We have Robo Fiend there. That's cool to see him here before the show.
Yes. TV Land, I think it might be like an extraneous reference to Nick at Night. I don't know why, because a lot of the Nick at Night shows went to TV Land or vice versa. I was just thinking it's like an obscure, like, hey, Nick at Night, but it's TV Land.
I mean, if they put Nick at Night, that kind of would be like breaking their own universe in a
Yeah.
way. So
I'm saying, I think it might be like a kind of like, hey, the real guys, they know this. They're aware of this.
I think TV Land is more classy than Nick at Night.
Oh, sure.
Shrink Ray falls on Jimmy and crushes him dead.
Jimmy
Neutron.
Well, with Goddard, I like that the ear, like Goddard's functional as he is cool looking. Like as the ear that becomes a phone, like all sorts of.
There was a huge line here. I remember being grounded for a week and not being allowed to go to my best friend's bachelor party. Yeah, I remember there was another line or two like that in the Runaway Rocket Boy or in the show. There's also that great line from Runaway Rocket Boy. He has like, honey, does a bear have a butt in the woods?
Yeah, but I tell you, it's with Jimmy's
Wow.
parents, real quick, as I was kind of saying earlier. Again, like they kind of remind me of my folks, and then the father's a goofy, nice guy, and the mother's, she's the one who's all business, kind of the hammer of the relationship, if you will. Kind of, yeah, the more serious of the two. That's kind of how that goes. You got a lot of
So
love
funny,
for you and Judy.
I hadn't realized before that Out of Sync was like those posters were in this movie before showing up in the show.
Yeah,
You got to remember, it's kind of funny. Aaron Carter does the songs in this movie, and that's again another kind of nostalgic thing that Aaron Carter.
Yes. The early 2000s music is as nostalgic as it is bad, folks.
Yeah, and you have, of course, his brother being from NSYNC. That's
No. His brother was Backstreet Boys.
Oh, sorry, crap. Who's?
I grew up in the 90s, Dragon. I know this shit.
Well, forget that. Forget that reference then. Never mind. Out of Sync's a funny pun on that, though. I like that.
So I love this perfect balance thing from Cindy. It's kind of like a logical logic sort of thing.
Yeah. I wonder how many kids learned the word "shant" from this movie. But yeah. And
So
now the part that
Tiki-
appeals to the theme parks geeks.
Yeah, speaking of which, Tiki, what do you think of this?
It's decent. I don't think it's nearly as cool as Euro Reptar Land, so for that reason I'm not over the moon about it.
Funny, I think I might actually be a little more attracted to this than Euro Reptar for some reason.
Basically, I don't think this has the same sort of cohesive theme that Euro Reptar Land does. Where Euro Reptar Land, you can tell the design of it was like all based on Reptar, whereas this, I'm not really sure what the theme is going for.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, more reminds me of Funky Town from Doug than anything else.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. I can kind of see that, yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is kind of funny with she just like, I will, Ultra Lord, I will take your mask.
I like the fact that he gives out the masks to like the big fanboys. I think that's great.
Yeah.
Also, I love the eyeball gondola. It went by. That's my favorite ride in the theme park, especially in the games too. Remember, I played the Jimmy Neutron like Game Boy Advance game, and you had to go around the park and everything.
I remember playing it on GameCube.
I had nostalgia about the Rugrats movie games, and you have nostalgia about these games.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think for me, maybe with Retroland is the rides seem a bit cooler, maybe than Euro Reptar.
Maybe it's like a Universal versus Disney thing, right? Because Euro Reptar is very Disney.
Although Retroland isn't screen heavy. Heyo!
Well, yeah, but then again, maybe this is like classic Universal, which is why it appeals to you so much.
Kinda.
That is really sweet.
Like in a thrilling sense, like
right.
From like some of the designs of things, like the Eyeball Sky Ride or Bat Out of Heck.
Uh-huh.
Right now, this is a really sweet scene.
But yeah, I
here.
get your thing about coherence.
Yeah.
Really sweet scene here with the Neutrons. And of course, kind of covering for Jimmy here, recording it all for posterity.
I am kind of surprised that Judy doesn't recognize that it's a robotic sound alike.
Yeah, that's the thing for me, is that this scene kind of, like, you're right, it's a nice scene, it just makes the parents look a little too dumb.
Yeah.
Come on, a little bit of suspension of disbelief.
We don't care.
A little bit.
Well,
Yeah, it's still,
I care a
like,
little,
I guess it's
just a
better
little
than
bit
Dee Dee
lesser.
mistaking the Angelica statue with random clothes on it for actually being Angelica, but yeah. Da 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 da.
Well, that's kind of it's kind of the fact here that I like the fact here that Judy is like she's trying. He's reading like
you have
with your gifted child
with a large brain, and you're trying to deal with him.
Yes, I mean it doesn't make her look like doesn't make them look dumb. It makes them look they're trying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Avada
the B-movie
Kedavra
abduction.
green glow.
A lot of fun with the B-movie abductions here.
I really hate the guy who's on the toilet, though.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That was so unnecessary.
It's Cindy's father, by the way.
Oh, wonderful.
It is?
Wonderful.
I love that the rocket's still on the roof. I hadn't noticed.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
And also, it's another weird thing where some of the adults in the scene look like kids because the differentiation between kids and adults in this world just visually isn't really there.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to bring up something similar in a couple minutes, but yeah.
Well, yeah, like the B-movie abduction thing, where that scene with Hugh, though, where we just kind of like, and we just cut away from it. It's a
yeah, that might have been Cindy's parents.
Oh, those were Cindy's parents. So.
Wonderful.
Anyway, so with the with the Yogins and with the whole chickens, the rubber.
That transition there was kind of like straight out of Toy Story.
Yeah, well,
like the Sid skull to the Dark Knight.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
not to Batman Dark Knight, but yeah.
Sure. It was let's see there. With the Yogins, with the ships, I love the whole chicken egg thing. It's like their mythology, their history is built around. Did the chicken come before the egg, or did the egg come before the chicken? That's kind of what.
Tiki, I remember you saying when your first Nicktoon movie month, you thought it would have been great if their leader was Miss Fowl.
Oh yeah, that would have been absolutely wonderful. Oh my god.
Kind of asking for the moon on that one.
Or if Miss Fowl was like the one person who could tame the giant chicken.
Okay, that sounds more plausible.
So
like the giant chicken is somehow Miss Fowl's son.
The bed sheet transition is really nice, though. That was a really good transition.
Kim Cummings again.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if that ship would actually fire if he didn't hit it.
Something I'm wondering is so.
Look at this fridge. Look at the fridge here when he opens the fridge. Look at all those eggs. Who needs that many eggs? Look at that. That is far too many eggs. I'm sorry, you were saying?
No, wait. Hey, we've gone to Florida.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. It's less the thing with Judy you pointed out there. I have less an issue with that. I have more an issue with this. That Jimmy, the smartest kid in the block here, you can't decipher that. Okay,
we have gone to Florida.
He can't everyone's going to Florida, and it's his son and or daughter. He can't put that together. Yeah. I get that he's a kid, but come on.
What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?
My
name is Florida.
Florida.
For a second, I thought you were referencing Bates Motel.
That's the name of a state. I was going to make that reference. I wasn't sure if you guys would get it. So I noticed this Goddard scanning for adults, but not seniors. So maybe that's why why he didn't pick up on Miss Fowl.
Huh, that's interesting.
Well, if the Yogians are going by the same logic, hence not getting Miss Fowl, did any other seniors get missed?
There could be a size thing.
Again, the Miss Fowl thing could just be the fact that Miss Fowl's an alien and she's like the undercover one on Earth.
Or actually, there might be like a size algorithm put in the gutter that he's scanning adults by height, and that's why he can't find Miss Fowl.
So I find this sequence really obnoxious, and it kind of made me turn on the movie in the theater a little bit.
Yeah, this one does not hold up. I mean, this scene here is.
It's just like all like this is just the scene where I'm like, my God, is this what kids my age are doing?
Here's what bugs me. Here's what kind of bugs me about on the rewatch. I never considered before that. It's only one day passes. I completely forgot about that. It feels like a week or something's going on, but then that makes sense.
I remember when I saw this in the theaters, I thought the girl at the welcome to the candy bar. I thought that was an adult.
Oh no.
We never see that kid in the show.
No, we don't.
Looks like she could be Miss Fell's daughter, though.
Yeah.
You can see that.
Welcome to the candy bar. Whoopee cushion or non-whoopee cushion.
Are kids that obsessed with whoopee cushions?
Maybe back then.
Back then, by
Miss Val again.
do you mean like in the 50s?
Well, again, it's kind of a 50s town. They're kind of going for that.
Okay, whatever. Okay.
But again, one of my favorite locations, more in the show than they did here, but it's the fact to we saw it in that scene. I love the candy bar, kind of the cafe. It's like an ice cream shop that's very much like a malt shop in the 50s. That's cool. I love that.
Then, of course, I'll always associate this song with this movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I'm
cool
with you
lighting.
too.
Yeah, and if I don't associate it with this movie, the second thing I'd probably associate it with is Pan.
But yeah, I mean, again, this all happened over one night. Where it looks like it's trying to say it went for a week because I mean, it looks like these kids are real lightweights. So they over partied for one night.
They are real super lightweights.
I'm just saying, like, hey, we want our moms and dads back.
Obviously, it's not like they're actually like doing hard drugs or alcohol or anything like that. Obviously.
Yeah. I bet you he didn't do any. I bet you he just he wanted him to read a book. Then he came back and he said, "Hey, you guys are real lightweights." I bet that's what Nick did. Who am I kidding? He can't read.
God. He went to go play some Call of Duty.
I guess whatever.
So yeah, they figured out how to work the camera system and whatnot.
Yeah, which doesn't make sense to me.
You can't make your
they're
own
really
luck,
bad
but you
at
can
it.
work
So
a news station.
look, they're really bad. There's pushing. There's mashing buttons to figure out what happens. It's hey, it's going. Go. You can definitely see they ran out of kids.
Not a bad deconstruction of how they are kind of dependent at this stage in their life.
Yeah.
I just think they hammer it in a little too much, though.
You're right about it. You're right.
Especially since it's only one day.
I mean, this is definitely again, that's where the plot definitely has holes in it like that. All the kid centric stuff has holes.
Like this story could have had the potential to be like a kid friendly Lord of the Flies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not. It's not at all.
Right.
Okay, I always felt bad for this cotton candy kid.
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah.
These kids have some really weird. Aside from our main cast, all the other kids have really weird designs.
Well, it's almost kind of like
Candy Kid shows up
that way.
The Cotton Candy Kid is around throughout the rest of the movie as well, and he's noticeably lost the weight. Yeah.
Oh, good for him. And he'll keep it off this time.
Yeah. Because he had to fully, mostly undress.
Yeah. My energy on this movie is already kind of draining, guys.
Okay, somebody get him a purple flurp.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
That
was a cheap move.
You guys just take on this.
As cheap as the CG budget. Ayo.
Maybe I just would rather be watching The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Well, at least this will be over with sooner.
That's true, but The Last Jedi would probably
go close to halfway. We're close to halfway. We're already at 40 minutes, and this movie's only 82.
In retrospect, it does take them a long time to finally get to the Yogian planet. That's the thing on the rewatch. It did occur to me that I thought we got to.
Well, that's because it's essentially 3 episodes of the show. It's the Retroland episode, it's the No Parents episode, and then it's the Space episode.
Yeah.
Which is like one of my big problems with the movie. The movie just coherently doesn't really come together all that well.
Yeah, there's definitely that second episode still. You're right about that. There's definitely a second episode still.
And Dragon, to quote Gordon from The Dark Knight, if we're gonna do this, I'm gonna need a second cup of coffee.
Fresh.
So I'll be right back, folks. I'm just gonna grab some caffeine. I'll be right back.
For the record, it's fresh cup of coffee.
What if there was a moment in this movie where
thank you,
Nick
Dragon.
said,
Thank you for the
the
semantics. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
What?
I love Carl here. I love Carl summarizing the absurdity here and saying, you,
And
me,
a
and a dog are taking on an alien civilization. I love this. That's somebody. That's for me. That would be a great trailer bit right there. That's a perfect trailer bit. Was it in the trailer? Do you remember?
There's a line Jimmy has around here I got a big kick out of where he's like, in times of crises, intellectuals are always the first to go. Like, that definitely tickled me, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
And yeah, these sick kids.
I call them the not so angry mob. Because they're more sick than angry. And we really see
When
here.
did Sheen find out?
What do you mean, when did Sheen find out? They probably told him. Sheen's like the third in their trio. Probably told him at some point. They even called him.
But what, was Sheen like late? Because Carl was there.
I don't think they wanted to bring Sheen. I just think they probably told Sheen.
Oh.
He might have been Michigan. Yeah, might just stuck around. Okay, fine, it's unclear. But I'll say this
anymore.
I'll say this about Sheen though. Again, Sheen, you could definitely say is the weakest link because just he gave him up very easily, very simply. He just gave him up. Of course, a little homage to this kind of the sci-fi, but particularly Star Wars. With if we're gonna blow up the Death Star, it goes a little something like this, a little early '70s magic working here. But now with the advent of CG, we can make it all round stuff. And of course, there's no truth in this art right here, where Nick can take it. I'll take it from there. You pansy, my God, I hate that one.
You know what? I honestly think that the Nick stuff. Yeah, he's a terrible character, but I at least think it's amusing, like knowing where his arc is going. Like, this guy is like all smoke and no fire.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So now we're in a theme.
And of course, there's where the rocket is being located on that dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is fun, like seeing them turn the attractions into.
This is probably the most creative sequence in the movie, I would say. It's not the best sequence in the movie. It's not the most heartfelt sequence, but it's the most creative. So I'll give it some props for that.
Anyway, speaking of rides here again, Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast. I get some of the finest memories of Jimmy Neutron. I guess come from that and going there back when it was in its heyday at Universal. I rode that thing like 10 times. Like the first time I went there when it was up and running. Probably not too. I used to go back in the day. I used to go consecutively, so it was probably like the first year it came out. Possibly, I don't know. But
I mean, I would do the same thing with the SpongeBob ride.
They had a great pre-show. What I really loved most nostalgically is that when you wait in line outside, they have a little monitor that would play clips from the other Nicktoons shows, like Wild.
They had that same thing with SpongeBob. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was. Nicktoon Blast just was endless good time. And honestly, it might have been. Bear in mind, I went on the Hanna-Barbera one before the Elroy, the Saving Elroy ride, which name just escaped me at the moment. It was actually
wasn't it a Wacky Racers ride?
Dick Dastardly was the villain of it.
Yeah, Dick Dastardly was the villain.
It was like the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, Tiki and I've only been gotten to do the Despicable Me version. So
that's the one I want to do at some point, but I definitely would like to see how that one turned out. Because I went there and they had the gift shop up. The ride was not up though. I went in time for the gift shop when it was being built. The exterior and they had the gift shop, like the biggest tease ever.
I mean, the ride system is pretty much the same thing as Jimmy Neutron, right? Monkey?
Yeah, like the exact same, but the screen is bigger and it's 3D.
But I'm saying for those rides, I'm sorry, what's the Hanna-Barbera one called again?
The Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera.
The Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera, and especially Nicktoon Blast is kind of like how Tiki loves a roller coaster. That's how I love the simulator ride. That's kind of that's my equivalent of like kind of what made me fall in love with like what I consider like an actual theme park ride. I love a simulator ride.
Nice.
Yeah.
And of course,
although to be fair, my theme park White Whale has always not necessarily been roller coasters, but more so the Tiki Room itself.
Oh, sure. Anyway. So yes, we're going to space.
So remember when Kids in America was a big thing in the early 2000s?
Yes.
Like Digimon the movie used the same song.
I love the one that Sheen's in. I love, like,
vehicles. Yeah, and that one gets used in the show too. Jimmy uses it in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine he'd salvage some of it, as much of this as he could. It's free vehicles, like he stole from the theme park because there are no adults.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, like, he basically is like taking this whole theme park and stealing all their assets.
Yeah, like his rocket is taken straight from the park. Although, come to think of it, so does him spray painting
they
his
all
logo on it to make it like, I touched it, it's mine.
Just kidding.
Sorry, I couldn't hear monkey over your gag, Tiki. Why did you say monkey?
So does Jimmy spray painting his logo onto the rocket like the equivalent of touching someone's food and saying, "There, it's mine now"?
I would think more of like vandalizing. It'd say, "Now it's mine. I've claimed it from my own territory." So like putting the flag down. That's what I equated it to. But sure. Of course, the whole like how they survive in space bugged the crap out of me when I was a kid, and then the show eventually made a gag of it, saying, "Hey, basically, Carl is asking these very logical questions." I'm sorry, Sheen is asking.
Sheen is asking them, and whenever Jimmy's explaining, it cuts to Carl singing.
That's hilarious, and again, I love that they at least acknowledge that. Yeah, we should be.
Yeah, the setup with the spinning rides is impractical.
I think that kid
a little bit, just a little bit.
I think the kid in spin ride is the most off model.
It could happen. I'm not sure you're thinking wide enough.
You're not thinking fourth dimensionally, Tiki.
We need Captain Rex.
Again, in terms of
Comets.
In terms of gross out gags, I'll say that I think that the high class fun one was Carl eating the toothpaste. It was that's a cute gag.
I don't even think that's a gross out gag because to me it's like everyone uses toothpaste. It's not that gross.
Yeah, of course it is toxic. We don't encourage anyone to do that at home. But
but I'm just saying, like, to me a gross out gag is like Cindy's dad on the toilet as he's being abducted. It's like, really, do we really need that mental picture?
You're right about that. The little hamburger face that's just kind of having that asteroid,
I do like the roller coaster and the Ferris wheel and everything. It is, like I said, it's all very kind of kinetic and creative.
Good thing that was a working drill.
Yeah. It is cool to. I love seeing him in before the meteor shower started. I love seeing him in formation where you have the ride that's trailing behind.
Does the burger make you think of Burger Invasion at all?
I could see it.
It's funny. It wasn't until I think somewhere in December 2016 that it wasn't until then I knew that the story we're going to see Nick telling on the asteroid is Blair Witch Project.
Right.
It's like the movie was on TV somewhere in December 16, and I'm listening to Nick tell the story.
It's probably on TV.
This is Blair Witch.
Because that was when the new movie came out, was 2016.
Sounds right.
It totally is Blair Witch. I love Blair Witch, by the way. Blair Witch Project, still one of my favorite horror movies. I still think it holds up to this day. It's creepy as hell. It gets into your head. There's a sense of paranoia and a sense of claustrophobia about it.
Yeah, this bit where the kid pops up and scares them all. I remember, it really amused me as a kid, and I can't help it. I'm still really amused by it now.
Real quick with Nick. Nick had a really obnoxious
bit. And the timing of it, I guess.
Yeah. Nick had a really obnoxious bit in when they were traveling. He said, "Wake me when we get there, you idiot! You're falling asleep at the wheel of a spaceship."
Yeah, and also just you're in space.
You're
in space.
White dwarf. So there's a hormone line coming up here that's kind of funny to Well, that totally went over my head as a child, but now as someone who would understand that line.
Right.
I mean, not necessarily with the female species, but yeah.
Oh, aren't they elusive, Monkey? Aren't they just totally elusive?
Anyway, what I really these are kind of scenes with Jimmy and Carl here. I really love the quiet little conversations they're having here. Again, speaks to their friendship. Speaks to the likability that Carl brings to it.
Oh,
Feels like they're like they feel like kids here. I feel like kids having a genuine conversation about like kind of the fears that are coming. And Jimmy's kind of confronted with the science that yeah, we are eventually going to be, interested in the opposite sex there. And says, Jimmy, you're going to give me nightmares. Ah,
Yeah.
and this is nice too. Again, this is hilarious with the payoff here with Carl the whole and this gag. These are a few of the lines that stick with me from the movies. I think how funny they are, especially Rob Paulson's delivery. Nani, nani, nani. That nani nani
Showed up in an episode of the show, even.
Yep.
okay, this scene kind of is a little like it's sweet, but at the same time, I wish they were never. I wish that not each one of them was like, my parents did this until they were abducted by aliens.
Well,
It's just, it gets a little repetitive. You know what I mean?
All right.
And at this point, Carl wakes up, and it was all a dream.
Oh God!
No, not Carl. Miss Fowl. Oh, it was all a dream. Then pull out, and she's still fighting the giant worm.
You're just
my
determined
God.
to run this afoul, aren't you?
No, at least he's not making broad jokes.
Good one, Dragon.
Leave him alone.
Appreciate those puns.
I will say this though, I like that we have like the green kind of this green atmosphere that kind of hints that the Yogi plant before we even get there. So I love that.
Yeah.
And again, you get to see this again in the ride in the Nicktoon
Now
Blast.
that I think about it, the
you have to build a
Yokian planet looks like a green version of Coruscant.
A little, I could see it. It has like these crop circles built into the planet, which is essentially the structure of the
Yeah,
city.
Nicktoon Blast took you to Yokus, and Star Tours took you to Coruscant.
Yeah, which is neat.
And it would always take me there. No,
I like here
I
we're
got
gonna do
so
a
sick
Star
of it.
Trek thing of our A players or guys exploring the surface while the rest of them are kind of waiting in space. And again, these again, I can't get over the design of these guys, and that's still. I remember I used to draw the Jimmy Neutron characters, and I always loved drawing the Yogians because they were so much fun. I mean, the oval was a pain in the butt to go because you want to go circular, but it was.
that's an oval. It has to be a circle. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some good stuff that's going to come up. I just think in general, this movie, even though it's only an hour and 22 minutes, it's still got pacing problems to it.
Yeah.
Which is really weird because now they've been in space for quite a while now, and they still aren't like close to reconnecting with their parents.
Of course, the mind control hats here. I like that. Hugh.
Willoughby's in the crowd. I never noticed that.
Yeah. Well, again, they had the character models. They were just going to recycle them for the show. They still had a lot of the models, even though we didn't meet them yet. With you here, I like that he thinks he's in like a B movie nightmare. He's just kind of rolling with it until he commands until the mind control helmet starts. It's like he's like napping.
Giving his best Tony Clifton.
And here you go. Here you got. Here's the duck. Again, we got enough kind of duck and chicken-esque stuff with you. A lot of bird themes we got going on with them.
Your dad's like a mind-controlled duck man.
Yeah.
He's just like Jason Alexander.
Yeah, I know. If only it was like the Jason Alexander duck man.
You know what's kind of interesting with this throne room? It seems like we're going for kind of a Wizard of Oz-esque throne room here.
Yeah. And it's Miss Fowl behind the curtain.
Oh,
God.
stop this.
Pay attention to the teacher behind the curtain. Anybody can have a brain.
Oh God.
Very good, Carl.
Yeah. I can't come back. I don't know how it works. Goodbye.
This is what I'm talking about. Nick was of no use in this situation. Later on, he takes out 2 of them, but right here, he couldn't take out the 2 right there? Or earlier?
For some reason, I vividly remember the coloring book page of Libby saying to Goobot, "What do you want with our parents?"
That's a random pull, but I appreciate it.
So again, I love this. Is like in the way
And it was immediately followed by a scary-ass port coloring book page of Poltra.
Oh, God.
Of course, yeah, Goobot just
Why,
getting so frustrated.
why don't they call Poltra Goddess?
Because it's catchy. I don't know. But
so I love this, though. I love this whole, like, oh, you've been chosen to become sacrifices of Poltra. Aren't you lucky?
These are actual news anchors.
It's the actual Entertainment Tonight people.
Yep.
Did not know that till today. Yeah. So yeah, YT. So this is playing on YouTube.
Or Yogi in television.
No, it's clearly YouTube. It's YT, and it shows video, so it has to be YouTube.
See, Dragon, this was like the really old version of the YouTube logo before they went with like the red and the white and everything.
See.
And then once the Yokians were defeated in this movie, somebody took it, made YouTube, and here we are now.
I love the fact that
and then because Jimmy Neutron had the communist logo in one episode, that's why they got inspired to make YouTube red.
I love that he has a tape at the ready. I just love that he has a tape at the ready. He's like, I don't want to explain who Poltra is. Just go with the tape. And then we have some of that pet shit when he ate his pet. Again, that's hilarious. That our introduction to Gooba was him eating his pet, and now he's trying to take Jimmy's pet. That's kind of fun. I think there's enough emotional resonance. Mainly, I think it might be more so because you're familiar with him in the show. Maybe that's why on the rewatch him.
I guess,
or at least like you knew him from like the whatever promotional stuff.
Yeah, shorts. You know,
if it's supposed to be a boy and his dog story, I just don't really think there's a lot there in terms of investment with Goddard.
It's just that boy and his dog is there. It doesn't mean it's the main story, though. It's not a problem.
I mean, maybe I'm just comparing it to the Rugrats movie where they do beautiful things with Spike.
Yeah. I was saying you have stakes taken out of it when you have a robot dog versus a real dog.
Yeah,
real dogs can actually die. I mean, yeah, you got to take, unless you smelt them down, that's really nothing you can do there.
So this, of course, is the forced liar revealed moment.
Well, it's not. Oh yeah, right. I'm trying to think.
It's not a liar reveal per se, but it's the moment where everyone's just like, "Hey, we're gonna inexplicably be jerks to the main character."
You're right about that. Yeah, it's definitely a low. It's like it's like the force would gets us to low. So I'll give you that. Yeah,
we get some fun with Sheen here,
and we get this like an inkling that Libby, she's like hearing Sheen now. Of course, in the show, she and Sheen have a thing going on there where Jimmy and Cindy have a thing.
Then we have this bit coming up here like, no, this is the stupidest thing you ever heard.
Oh God!
Yeah, it still gets me. I love this line coming up here.
Do you think that moment was inspired by Dumb and Dumber?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Apparently,
Jimmy Neutron is a third Jim Carrey.
God.
But yeah, I got a kick out of this thing rewatching it today, where Shane's like,
"I'm sorry,
you're just picking on me because you're insecure."
Please cut him off.
So this is my favorite moment in the movie.
Can't blame you. Yeah, it's a nice one.
I mean, there's not really a ton of emotional depth between these two, but I like the fact that Cindy's reaching out. I like that she's being open about like, hey, before you came, I was the smartest kid in school, and that's why I'm a jerk to you. It's a nice moment. You know what I mean? It's a nice little bit of subtlety in this movie. Yeah. I wish more of the movie would have moments like this.
If we didn't do as much of the girl power stuff, we probably could have had more moments like visually showing, like she had basically doing more Helga Pataki-esque kind of stuff visually then.
But I guess that's the tricky thing with Cindy though, is that she is very close to being Helga Pataki, except just not as nuanced. Yeah. And so I think the more layers you give to Cindy, the more close she is to Helga. Right. So it's like there's like a balancing act there.
Right about that.
And of course, my theory where it's like Debbie Thornberry and then Angelica Pickles are also kind of cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Of the antagonistic blonde characters who end up being some of the most well-developed characters on the show.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not Nick's one phone call. Yeah, I'm sick of this movie. I'm just waiting for this movie to end.
Of course, we have Martin Short along with Patrick Stewart here, and of course with
If
with
they
Martin
got
Short,
Ooblar to host the Canada Pavilion at Epcot,
Oh God.
I know the rights that could never work, but still.
This kind of reminds me of the bloopers from Toy Story 2 right here. The
Yeah, I thought that too.
Yeah.
Darn it, Woody!
No, it's kind of fun. It's like a fun, silly character for Martin Short to play. There's again the idiot brother is like being given like, okay, dissect him. It's like instead of doing like a Nazi interrogator type thing, we're just doing this idiot is so outclassed by the guy he's supposed to be torturing.
And I'm picturing Ooblar as one of those sort of John Cleese Nazis, like from the funniest joke in the world.
Yeah. And again, I think it was a good plan. I love this like fake out here. And again, he could have just blown up, but I like that they went the mile of hey, it's just. I love this bit right here. Okay, I'm gonna put you back. And he freaks out here after he puts it back. No, I put it back. Did you hear me? I put it. I love it when he freaks out. You understand me? It's cracks. That's one of the funniest Ooblar gags. Next to toast. Next to toast. The Watchmen homage there. No, not really.
He's Goddard.
Okay, now this is
a thing.
All right, so this is David Landers. This is Squiggy.
Wait, I thought David Lander was like when they. I assumed he was when one of the ones Nick beats up. I would think maybe this guy is Billy West.
No, this is David Landers.
Yes. Oh, it's not Billy West, really?
This is David Landers, I'm sure. Because he says, "Can you help me out, please?"
Huh? Is Billy West in this movie at all?
I think Billy West does a ton of voices in this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just not that one. Guys, I'm sorry, my video is kind of laggy here. So can you tell me when 103.11 rolls around?
We just passed that.
Oh shoot! Okay.
At 103. Well, now it's just.
What about 104.19?
All right.
That'll be in like 50 seconds or so.
104.19. Gotcha.
104.19.
Please.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
Okay, maybe that was David.
It's not even the fact that my computer's laggy. It's just the fact that I accidentally keep hitting pause. So that's my fault.
You just want to keep
104.19, right?
Oh yeah, 104.19. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, we're not there yet, but yeah.
It's like looks like it's when all the parents are lighting up.
What if like we had a moment like after they all fly later when they all fly off to pursue the escaping humans, and you get like in Coco, some Yokian comes in with refreshments. What did I miss?
That'd be fun.
Oh God.
Need some time travel to make that one happen. All right, now.
Okay.
Wait, or now?
You said 419, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
but it just hit 419 for me. I guess you're a couple seconds earlier than I.
All right.
Okay, now this is probably my biggest regret about not getting to ever go on the ride. So I never got to experience the chicken dance part.
Yeah, that was fun, and with.
You guys can't tell I'm clapping along.
Oh, we can tell.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. Definitely a lot of Nicktoon blast memories with the chicken dance, and also when Pulcher comes into the fray, and that's the thing I've kind of pointed out to you before when we talk Iron Man, because that's where you get that universal ride feel, and basically you are when you're running away from Pulcher, it's very much how you're running away from Ironmonger and Iron Man.
I can
That's
see
exactly
that.
the kind of.
Oh, my dad really dances like that.
Yeah, those are the. And by the way, I love that Rob Paulson.
I would like to think that Carl's dad is just like not being mind controlled at all. He's just like, oh, great, I can get my groove on.
Well, Rob Paulson is all of Carl's family, by the way. It's funny.
Although his mother actually sounds like a woman in this movie.
I don't know. I think it still might be Rob Paulson.
I'm listening for something. Yeah, that didn't sound like David Lander, I guess. That's who I thought he assumed he would have been, but
All right.
yeah.
Here we go. Here's the My
All right,
Hero.
so we
We
takes
got a
out two
valuable
guards,
tip-off.
and
The
then
genius was here.
takes out 2 guards, and then what's his next reaction?
You're right, Alien. I'm out because I'm a sissy.
The scream is great.
God, I hate this kid.
My hero?
James Dean would be ashamed.
Yeah,
And Tommy
you see,
Wiseau would.
that's
roll
where
his
Tommy
eyes.
Wiseau stops in, like, "Oh, hi, alien chicken. Oh, you think you such tough guy, huh?"
He would try to
You're
hug.
just
he would try to
chicken!
hug-
Cheep, cheep, cheep,
Oh
cheep!
god, oh god, oh my god, yes, Tommy Wiseau calling this chicken a chicken, please. We need to have that. You're nothing but a chicken. Cheep, 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 cheep.
We'd have like a Hercules bit where then
Someone please superimpose Tommy Wiseau into the scene doing the chicken thing, please.
What we would have is we'd have like a Herculean moment where Poulter steps on Wiseau, then we reveal Wiseau somehow has like godlike powers and he lifts it.
Oh, seriously though, the design on this thing is freaking terrifying. I
Yeah.
love the colors on it. I love the
Yeah.
like the bruised purple.
Yeah. It's an icky chicken, I'll give you that much.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't think we needed the second brain blast.
Well, I'm saying this one's more simplistic
I feel
than
like
the other
it
one.
kind of works like in a setup and a payoff.
You're right
like
there.
callback, like check out, you could say.
Yeah, I love
It's
this.
just a very obvious setup and payoff, though.
I
Fair
love
enough.
this stuff with Goddard here, where he's like he's a podium. He's like giving him a spotlight. He's like the ultimate right hand dog. That
We're
has.
sending Sheen alone to get the ship.
That was before he went stupid. It was before he turned stupid. Well, more, yeah.
Well, yeah, Sheen
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
stupid.
I'm saying what at least he was before while he was capable and not something that you torture people with.
Well, he wasn't basically had the mental capacity of a vegetable like in Planet Sheen.
Pretty much. The dinner bell. I'm saying, like,
look at the mouth of that chicken.
Yeah, maybe that's where most of the animation budget went into.
I know,
Ultra's
right?
mount.
again, Goddard's the ultimate kind of wingman here. He's like, he's got like the the headlights on and everything. He's pretty good to have and support.
Uh
Look at Carl's run. Look at the runs.
huh.
Just noticed.
As someone who had asthma as a kid, I can totally relate to that run.
Mm.
Of course, now you gotta be fair. There is a lot of payoff to the stuff we saw earlier in this sequence. He's doing like the
Yeah.
floor kung fu. Of course, we have Carl with the inhaler.
And once again, it's another like cover of an old song.
the breakfast-based brutality of all these egg smashes here.
I like the headphones bit. That was clever.
The original ear rape.
Again, I love these using the body as like a little hovering mechanism. So
Yeah,
that's nice. That's nice.
here's
Kind
Carl's
of
big.
horrifying though when you think about it.
But it is sure. Good for Carl. Look at him there. He's a ninja with an inhaler. Yeah. You want a piece of me? I didn't think so.
Yeah, it's great. Flying around in a corpse.
I tell you one thing, they're very lucky the Yogians don't have guns or blasters. They just have little staves
yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'd be toast. Well,
Hello.
yeah.
Well, what if they literally had blasters that turned them into toast? I could see that.
That'd be funny. More
Well,
magic.
the
than
only
science.
blast they have is Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon blast.
All right.
Because Men in Black's on the other end of the park.
Yeah.
They somehow snuck Poltra into the Men in Black ride.
You're gonna need a really big crate for that.
So, guys, as we're kind of winding up, I want to ask the general question here of, is this justified as a feature film and not just like 3 episodes strung together? Because I feel like out of all the Nickelodeon movies besides the Hey Arnold movie, this is the one that feels the least justified as a feature film, just because, like I said, it's not that there's no stakes in this movie. It just feels like everything is is very much kind of chopped together. You know what I mean? There's not really a ton of cohesion between the 3 acts.
Look, when you say Justified, I mean, does it feel like a feature film? Yes, it feels like a feature film.
And now
Does
this
it?
important moment of chicken ass.
God.
Really? You bring that up while I'm trying to make my point.
Well, I mean, he's just observing Dragon. He's just observing what's on screen.
Yeah,
they make sure we can't miss it.
Anyway, where's it going? Yeah, it's Justified. That's. I'm not sure, but I mean, it definitely feels like a feature more than it feels like, you know, like an extended pilot. I can say that much about it. And that, I mean,
because to me, it very much feels like an extended pilot. Like, whenever I watch this movie, I don't get a movie vibe off of it.
I'm saying it feels cinematic, and it feels like this being broadcast like in individual episodes on TV. I don't know what it is. It just feels like, and with the, I don't know, maybe it's the rendering, maybe it's something. It feels like a movie pilot, but not like episodes strung together. I mean, I can see the.
Yeah, I hear both sides of it, but I think I lean a bit more towards Dragon's position.
Okay.
But yeah,
so
I hear
really
where you're
see
coming
this
from.
on the small screen necessarily. I mean, aside from the home video, I mean, I can't really see like starting off on the small screen. It seems like an event sort of thing.
So is it just the fact that this was the first CG Nickelodeon show? That's why they decided to give it that event right off the bat?
I would imagine so, honestly. I think that might be.
Okay. You know, I remember being fine with the animation when I was a kid, but the animation just doesn't hold up for me.
I know that fact is the main reason it got the Oscar nomination.
What, the CG?
I really think so.
Well, that's ridiculous considering what else was nominated that year.
I'm saying,
There were CG.
you had Monsters Inc. and you had Shrek.
Shrek.
You know. Yeah.
And Monsters Inc. I don't want to get into this rant again because this rant is like over almost 20 years old at this point. But Monsters Inc. totally and completely should have won over Shrek.
Well, you're right about that. I'm just saying,
hands down, easily should have won against Shrek.
I'm saying Shrek won because it was
obviously Recess Schools Out should have won.
You know, Recess Schools Out should have been nominated over Jimmy Neutron because that's a much better movie about kids that don't talk. Recess Schools Out. I haven't seen that movie in years,
so I can't say.
It doesn't talk down to kids, which is what I appreciate. That's what I appreciate about Recess in general, is that's a show that does not talk down to kids.
You know what else was out in 2001? Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Oh my God, and that didn't get a nomination? Come on.
All right. So getting back on point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, of course, we had like an homage to Star Trek here. You know, the bad guy's up on screen. He's taunting our captain in question.
And of course, the screen completely takes over the windshield. So what's to say they don't run into a meteor?
I love how cocky King Goobot is here. He's putting it all on Jimmy. It's all your fault, Jimmy Neutron. You itty bitty die. He's asking for it. I love he has like Ooblar here. He's in like a little bucket. I love it because he's my brother. I can't just let him launch him into space. I gotta put him like a little chalice sort of thing.
And then around the end of the series, I'll trade him off for butter.
Yeah. But this is I always like this as a
kind of like the size thing could have been built up a bit better in the first act.
You're right about that, but this is this is a fun reveal. There's ultimate fun payoff here.
But I mean, like when he's talking about it on the asteroid, it's kind of like, wait, this was an issue.
It's like one size taught too many.
I think maybe when I was younger, I mistook him for shrinking the Okian ship. See there, running into a meteor.
It's kind of funny when you think about the Yogians and when they're in, seeing them here, kind of the way Wall-E almost went with the gel-based aliens. Kind of funny. If we learn anything from Ant-Man, it's don't underestimate scale. Never underestimate scale.
Why do I picture Miss Fowl running from Thomas the Tank Engine?
I love that change. I love we get Thomas the Tank Engine in there. It'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's Rob Paulson doing the voice, but yeah, Carl's mom actually sounds like a female here.
I mean, I don't know that one for sure. I'm just assuming. I think he's credited as her. I might be thinking
that Carl's mom and dad, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, you ordinarily show he's all of them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, it's the Ultra Dad, Ultra Son. That's cute. And the fact he's one of the Ultra Lord, that's nice, you know?
Yeah.
Nice sentiment there. It's lollipop things. Rose. I like the mom's getting like a nod of like, oh, you silly, don't get people lollipops out of your mouth. What's wrong with you?
And then,
Yeah, it's a nice little reunion here.
I mean, I
It's
like the
not-
bit with Hugh saying like, "Oh, it's not always you get to see this view and whatnot," but
Yeah.
well, you see, T, I know you have some sort of like reservations about this movie just being a "don't talk to strangers" PSA, but you see, Jimmy was already a genius, but in this movie, he learns to be too smart for strangers.
Hello? Huh. No.
I've been waiting so
Anyway.
long to make that joke.
No, I was figuring you were going to make that at some point, if I'm being honest. I can tell you, just with the resolution with King Goobot, I really do. And when you defeat King Goobot, I like that it's essentially it's a kid defeating a bully who's been taunting you the whole movie. I really like that kind
Yeah.
of the release of that was nice, and the sunny side up gag was also pretty fun. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's him learning a lesson. Basically, a kid who pretty much knows everything still has a few things learned from his parents. There, it's a unique family experience they all share, and they're not like, it's nice.
Yeah. And now your favorite scene.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, some of the burping animation on Hugh is kind of weird, but then you get that sort of funny thing
I
where
just
it's like he's
like,
singing.
why do we have to end this movie like this, where it's just like, it's literally just an assault of belch humor, just an assault of it.
I don't know. I felt those harmless and cute. I don't know. It was like, yeah, okay. I mean,
Harmless and cute.
yeah, it's like, come on. It's like, of all the gross out humor, I mean, that's forgivable. But yes, it's at the
No,
end.
no,
It's-
no, no, no. Out of all the gross out humor, that is like the worst gross out humor in the whole movie, I thought.
Worse
really-
than the word
Oh, yeah.
poop written onto a statue?
I'm sorry, what?
So it's worse than the word poop being written on a statue?
I would say yes, because more attention is drawn to it.
Okay.
No, like I said, it's just the fact that it literally ends out the movie. It's like, all right, we're going to end out with a giant belch gag.
Product
Yeah, it was
of
like
the
a little.
time,
It
I
was a little
guess.
girl's pitch to her father. Like, what if we ended the movie with that?
Okay, end the movie with one belch, not like, oh, I'm going to belch, and then I'm going to belch, and then we're all
Well, now we
gonna
get Miss
belch.
Fowl, so... Onward, Mr. Wiggles!
Oh, God. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Miss Fowl has the most interesting storyline in the movie, and we barely see it. Like, I want to see that Miss Fowl tames the Angry Worm movie. Who doesn't want to see that movie?
Yeah, it says Rob Paulson was Carl's mom, so...
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Yeah, Billy West is like...
A lot of characters.
Oh, a lot of characters, yeah.
Yeah, it says he was Butch, and then
Yeah.
Butch was Rob Paulson, so...
Well, it might be. You sure it's a Butch? I guess Rob Paulson's Butch in the show. Then I guess that's
Yeah.
gotta be it.
So, final thoughts, gentlemen?
Monkey.
I still have a fondness for this movie. An enjoyment of it. Even though, it does feel catered to a younger demographic, but I guess I still find some charm to it, some humor. And yeah, the series does have a bit more of an identity and some, like, even if it did make Jimmy more of an ass, but it's there were still some good memories. There's still some fun to have, even looking back at it for me.
Dragon?
Sure, don't want to sandwich this so we can go out on a high note, or
Yes, I'm sure.
fine. All right. I still like what I like from this movie. It's kind of what it is at the end of the day. I mean, yeah, look, I haven't really had to look back on the movie in a long while because I'm more used to the show, again, and more fondness for the show. But again, yeah, and the kids stuff does not hold up because again they kind of surpass that later on. But it's Yeah, there's some cool design work. I mean, I think I like the design work most, if I'm being honest. The design work, not just in the thoughts of the alien race, the gadgets, the vehicles, kind of the '50s retro design. You got some, there are good things that were mined in the show. You get to see here, and again, it does have that cinematic kind of vibe, and that's where a lot of my nostalgia is coming from. Seeing it in theaters and the build up to it. So, I mean, I still got a lot of fondness for this, and I think that's kind of one of the things we look at on Nicktoons Movie Month here. We kind of look at the experience we had with this, and looking back on how it holds up, if it holds up the scrutiny on a rewatch, and how it's how kind of perspectives have changed over the years. So again, at the end of the day, there's definitely flaws. Absolutely, there are flaws to this film, and in plot, and also here and there in characterization. I think mainly in plot. At the end, I think there's more stuff in plot that's wrong with the film, but on the whole, it's a fun experience. But if I'm being honest, I'd go on Nicktoons Blast any day of the week before I'd. Again, if I could bring back Nicktoon Blast, I would erase this from existence if it would give me Nicktoon Blast again, if I had to,
Yeah, folks, and look, I'm not trying to be the negative Nancy in the room who's just hating on this movie. I'm just saying, because I am a few years older than you guys. This was kind of like the defining point for me, where it was like, okay, Nickelodeon is going down the road of catering more towards kids than families. And I think that while the two Rugrats movies that preceded this were both really good family movies, this was a kids movie. And it's a well-done kids movie, it is. But I feel like just the immaturity level in this movie mixed with kind of the dated animation, and also the fact that I don't really care for some of the characters, especially the title character. This is definitely not one to go back on anytime soon. Like I watched it for Nicktoons Movie Month back in the day, and then I put it aside for like 5 years, or I'll probably put it aside for another 5 years. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's not a bad movie by any stretch. It's certainly no, I don't think Nickelodeon, in terms of the animated movies, ever really made a bad movie. Like, honestly, I would say Hey Arnold would be the closest thing to a disappointing movie, but even that's not outwardly bad.
Come on, Barnyard.
Well, we haven't gone to Barnyard yet. I haven't watched Barnyard yet, so we don't know. Right. Have you seen Barnyard?
Yeah. Not since it was in theaters.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so next time on Nicktoons Movie Month, I'm very excited because we'll be talking about the Wild Thornberrys movie. Dragon, would you agree that this might be the most obscure out of all the Nickelodeon movies?
Thornberrys?
Yeah.
I would honestly, yes.
Because I feel like nobody talks about Wild Thornberrys movie. Like, I feel like that one just gets pushed under the rug so much.
I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. And I honestly think there's some really good things in the Wild Thornberrys movie. It's got a good villain reveal. It's got some really heartfelt stuff with the family.
Honestly, T, I think the main comparison is it's very much kind of the Rescuers from Down Under for Nickelodeon.
I could see that. Although I would say the Wild Thornberry show in general is kind of like Rescuers Down Under-esque for the Nickelodeon tone.
I was saying with like the cinematic vibe, and especially how our villains look. They look very derivative in a good way.
Yes.
Of Rescuers Down Under.
All right.
Okay, hey, gentlemen, before we go, I neglected to tell you, but I actually managed to arrange a cameo from somebody who was in the movie.
Oh, no.
Who was,
okay.
Yeah, one of the villains from the movie. Like, I actually got a Yokian to show up.
I'm scared. Eeks, kill it with fire.
Be too smart for strangers.
God.
Oobla.
All right. Well, coming up is the Wild Thornberrys movie, folks. And until then, that's all for now. Join us next time as we make like a sponge and absorb more awesome Nicktoons nostalgia on
Nicktoons
Movie Month. The stranger is something a piglet is not.
Nick.
Nickelodeon. Goodbye, Toast.
A stranger is someone who might touch you.